Welcome back to Tokyo on Fire. In this segment, we're just going to pick out some topical news stories. We're running this out. This was suggested to us by one of our viewers. Let's see what's going on in Tokyo news now. Monocle is a London-based fashion magazine. It does a survey every year about the most livable cities in the world. This year, Tokyo came in first. Really an interesting dynamic. Tokyo, Fukuoka, and Kyoto came in the top 15. Tokyo was selected, it was said, because of its defining paradox of heart-stopping size and a concurrent feeling of peace and quiet. If you live in Tokyo, or if you've been to Japan, that's one of the things that strikes everybody that's here. It is quiet, it's clean, it's very safe. You can go out and eat food. Any place throughout Japan, you can have confidence that that food will not only be properly prepared, but safe and delicious too. Two other cities, Fukuoka and Kyoto, also made the top 15. Fukuoka came in 12th, Kyoto 14th. Interesting news. In other Tokyo news, dementia has been identified as a reason to restrict your driving privileges, and it takes a law to do that here in Japan. The Diet has passed a revision to the road traffic safety law, where they're doing tests now on people 75 years and older who are driving their license. Now, the law stipulates that you must take a test every 2 or 3 years to certify your ability to drive on Japanese roads. There have been increasing number of accidents, fatal accidents. These are growing in number, and as the Japanese population continues to age. This is foreshadowing other things that are coming up, but now, at least on the books, 75 years and older, you must be tested every 3 years to see if you are demented. In other news, the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan has gone through an election process and elected a new board. This is big news because the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan plays a pretty central role in the decimation of what's going on in Japan, culturally, politically, financially. It's a central place for gathering for foreigners, foreign press, Japanese press, exchanging ideas. It's a real hub of activity. Congratulations, James Sims, who is a contributing writer for Forbes, for taking the top slot as the president of the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan. Another issue of rising importance is the revision of the temporary workers law in Japan. If you live in Japan or have done business with Japan, you'll know that hiring and firing people in this country is extraordinarily difficult. The law in Japan has recently been under review. The way the current law stands is for temporary workers, you can hire them as a corporation for a year, renew their contract as a temporary worker. In 3 years, having done that repeatedly, you must either offer them a job as a full-time employee, which is the golden parachute for employees in Japan, or let them go. The current revisions are being promoted by a coalition of the Liberal Democratic Party, Komeito, and the Japan Restoration Party. The revisions would remove the requirements to hire temporary workers after renewing their contract 3 years in a row to make them a full-time employee. For those of you who live in Japan and do business here, you understand what this means. Not only is it extraordinarily difficult to find good employees, it is also very difficult to fire employees that you're not satisfied with. Under the current situation, a temporary worker can be hired and rotated on a temporary contract 3 times in an annual contract. If this bill passes both houses and that restriction is removed, what you will end up with is a situation where you could be a temporary worker throughout your career. In Japan, being a formal full-time employee is the golden parachute. Once you become a full-time employee under Japanese law, it is exceedingly difficult to have you terminated without very good cause. Those are just a couple of issues that are in the press these days. Please stay tuned next week for Tokyo on Fire. We'll address other issues of topical importance.